Hello and welcome to a brand new series on road.cc. This is the staff bikes, where we take a look at some of the people's bikes who work here. So we're going to start with mine. This is my brand new specialized S-Works Aethos. As some of you may have seen, I did have an S-Works SL7 and I traded my aero gains for comfort and handling and nice things, because I'm moving away from that kind of aero racer boy thing to being a comfort boy and a sportive person. I really love this bike. I tested the S-Works and the Pro model back in the day, and well, I really thought that's where people should be spending their money instead of the aero gains, and now I've put my money where my mouth is. So with this bike, this is a 52 centimeter bike. Up front I've got a 130 millimeter stem, and I'm obviously running a lot of seat post. This frame set realistically is a little bit small for me. Personally, I prefer a smaller frame because that means that I can get a lot more control over the bike. It's just the way I like to ride. Okay, what we'll do is we'll start up at the front end and then we'll work our way down. I'll try and give you a few stats of the bike as well while I remember it. 6.8 kilos in this build. Starting at the front, we have a Pro Vibe lightweight. I don't think this is the super light. No, it's just the Pro Vibe bar. I really like the classic kind of round shape, and the drops are just about deep enough for me. If I was to choose, I'd go for something even deeper. I am on the lookout for a Ritchie Neoclassic carbon bar. If you know of one in a 40 centimeter size, let me know. Right, up at the front of the bike, what we've got is the Ultegra R8100 group set. These are the shifters, they are wireless. Personally, you may have noticed that I've got my brakes running Euro style. I've always preferred having my rear brake in my right hand because that's got all the finesse, and then the left hand just does the emergency stops. Moving back, we've got the Pro Vibe carbon stem. I really like it. It's very, very stiff. It's light enough. The only issue for it was getting this out front mount. That was a nightmare to find. I actually had to order that from China. There's only one of two places doing it, and these people were doing it for a significantly less amount of money than other places. Moving back, you can see that I've got a relatively low front end setup. I'm still playing around with this, hence the 5mm spacer above the stem. I've only really just built up this bike, so it's not fully complete yet. Moving back down the bike, obviously we've got the frame set, you know about that. I'm gonna have to apologize for the bottle cage situation here. I have these S-Works bottle cages and then I couldn't find the second one. I've hidden it away somewhere, so we've got an Elite bottle cage on the back. That will change. Moving back down the bike, let's take a look at the chain set down there. That is the Ultegra R8100 crank set. It's not the power meter crank set, but on the flip side, I have the 4i Gen 2 power meter on the Ultegra crank on the left. That's not the correct Ultegra crank, but unless I tell you, you probably couldn't notice. So I really like that power meter. It's served me well for a few years. The data is really consistent. It might not be the most accurate out there. I don't really care. Consistency is the thing for me. Ultegra pedals, they don't go wrong. They're quiet, they're fine. Let's go up to the top. We've got the Alpinist seat post that comes with the frame. It's a seat post and it holds a Romin S-Works saddle. Carbon rails, it's lightweight. I love the shape of this thing, have done for years. It's my saddle go-to choice, love that thing. Moving down to the wheels, these are the Roval Alpinist CLX2 wheels. These are a tubeless ready wheel set. I'm not running them tubeless. As you can see, these are the Vittoria Corsa G2.0 clincher tires, lovely tan wall sidewalls, and inside there is our latex inner tubes. These are a 28mm tyre. I really like the wider tyre, run these really nice and low. I'm about 62 kilos for most of the year. I run my front tyre at around about 55 psi, the rear at about 62-ish. On those wheels, we have another slight mix of components. So I'm again apologising for the lack of consistency. On the rear, we've got an Ultegra rotor, and on the front, we've got the Dura Ace/XTR model rotor. The front is a 160, the rear is a 140. This is the first time I've used a 160 rotor for one of my personal bikes on the front wheel, and I really like it. It's just very, very nice to be able to really stop on a dime when you're going down a steep hill, which we have a lot of in Bath. Let's get onto the gearing, because up the front we have a 52-36. Used to run a 53-39. Personally, I'd probably go for a 53-38. That would be my ideal, but I can't be bothered to change the chain rings, all honesty. Up at the back, we've got an 11 through to 30 tooth cassette. Massive spread of gears on this. I've been racing, I've been riding hills, and I'm about to go to the Alps on this bike. It does it all, so really, really good. And then if we jump back up to the front, we have a Garmin Edge 1030 Plus. I really like this head unit. Gives me a massive screen. I'm usually following a route. I like to explore even my local area. I really like it. Not the best for hill climbs, quite heavy. Now, I touched on hill climbs there. When it does come to hill climb season, I will change this out for a 1x setup. And I might make a few other changes, but this bike, like I said, runs at 6.8 kg already. We may as well just keep it as standard as possible. And then finishing the bike up the top is Prime Comfort or Sport bar tape. I can't really remember. I generally buy this stuff. It's really, really good. I really love it. Comfy, grippy, and cheap as well. Easy to wrap too. So I mentioned that I'd sold an SL7 and gone over to the Aethos, and you're probably wondering, how do they compare? Well, they're relatively similar in geometry. Personally, I get on with them both really, really well. I find them to handle very, very nicely. But realistically, I bought this because I wanted the easy to work on front end, I wanted the comfort, and I wanted the lower weight of the Aethos. So whichever one you go for, I personally think you'll be really, really happy with. But if you were gonna decide and you're not doing so much racing, I'd steer clear of the SL7 and get this, because this, personally, is the nicer looking bike. There's no massive logos on it. I really like that. In terms of what's coming up for this bike, I can't really be bothered to make too many changes to it. We're gonna be taking a look at loads of the other staff bikes here at road.cc. Loads of us have got a few bikes kicking around as well, so we'll try and bring you as many of them as possible. Keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, we've got a load of Tour de France bikes for you to take a look at. They really are quite nice, but not as nice as my bike.